Oh yeah, sexy biscuits. Nice.
Longboard Blues, 1975. A YouTuber's on the rise. Reviewing game-related items, sometimes friends used to bug him. Longboard Blues, 1975.
This is Bomb Jack, the arcade machine, and no, you're not mistaken. I know the title says ZX Spectrum versus Commodore 64, but this is to give you a bit of perspective. Bomb Jack is an arcade machine released by Tekken, later known as Tecmo, in 1984. You play Jack, who has to fly around the screen collecting bombs before they detonate. Do it in the sequence that they detonate, or, you know, before they detonate, because they flash, will increase your score. Then you can get a power pill and you can eat the enemies, which you have to avoid. You can't actually straight out fly. You can jump and you can hover, and it was a massive success and an absolutely amazing arcade game, and that's why I've chosen it for Commodore versus Spectrum, because back in the day they both received ports that were considered very, very good. Obviously there were other ports, but we're not interested in them. And yeah, it was another one which Spectrum kids and Commodore kids would argue against. So I'm going to show you a little bit of the arcade, so as I said, you've got a little bit of perspective. And yeah, so boom, I first played this in Minehead and thought it was absolutely amazing. I sucked at it, but there you go, hammer it. I sucked at it, but I loved it, and the fact that it was getting ported to the Spectrum just made it that much more an amazing experience. The controls are amazing. This jumping mechanic works really well. Oh, Shizen. Obviously, one hit, one kill. Now there's 5 stages. Is it 5 stages? And then you rinse and repeat, but the level layout changes. See, there you go. A bomb's about to blow up. Does this mean Bomb Jack is counter-terrorist? Get that? Or don't get that. So this is the Sphinx. Is there the Acropolis? And there's a skyline, and yeah, you get the idea. So let's jump straight into it, into the Commodore. There's a platform above your head, Dave. The Commodore 64 version. All home versions were made by Elite, who did loads of arcade conversions, were really well known for it. And yeah, they were released in 1986. So let's take a look at that bad boy. So let's jump straight into the Commodore 64 version, released by Elite Systems, who did all the ports in 1986. And right off the bat, you've got some lovely SID chip goodness. I don't recall there being music in the arcade, but this was quite common for ports back in the day. Whether or not there is music in the game, or sound effects in the game, or both, or neither, I don't know. Let's get into it. It looks the part. It's nice and colourful. It looks like the arcade. You know, if I had this back in the day, having played the arcade version, I would have been, you know, very happy. I would have been convinced that this was an arcade, you know, a decent arcade port. Oh, forgot, I've got the glide mechanic. So obviously you got a hammer jump and press left or right. There we go. Right. The only thing I'll say is it feels really, really, really... Alright, don't overdo it, Jack. It feels really, really cramped. Be interesting to see if it's as cramped on the Spectrum version or not. But then, having said that, the arcade machine was taller than it was wider. So, you know, that's not necessarily a fair comparison to make. Obviously, back in the day, you know, probably... Well, you wouldn't have had the option to turn your TV around, because your parents would have been pissed. Right. It's got a challenge. Ooh. Yeah. Ooh, it's got a challenge. Yeah. Let's try that again. It seems to me, though... There you go, the glide mechanic works. Yeah, so it's controllable and very tight and controllable. You've got to be very precise with when you're jumping onto platforms, but then, hey, that's a platform game, I guess. Oh, shit. Again, because it's so cramped, you get penned in quite easily. Can't make a comparison on that. As I said, the arcade machine was taller than it was wider. Can't make a comparison on that until I picked the Spectrum version. There we go. Points. Yoink! Oh shit! I keep forgetting to hammer. That's not the game's fault, and also don't, you know, hate the game because of my controls. But yeah, I keep forgetting to glide. Right, well, there you go. Wish I could show you more, but you get the basic impression. So, yeah, you know what? Ignoring my crap, you know, controls, and ignoring the fact that I think it's a bit cramped, it's a very decent representation, oh hello, of Bomb Jack. And like I said, I would have been very happy to have had this version as a kid. Right, let's just get this bomb. My OCD's kicked in. So, let's try the Spectrum version. So this is the title screen on the Sinclair ZX Spectrum. Very, very colourful, different from the arcade, different from the Commodore 64, with the fact that it's introduced a picture of the character that was present, well, it was neither present in the other versions, both the versions, but it's playing to the Spectrum strength, which it's monochromic. You've got your bar down the right hand side showing you, well, what player you are, 1 or 2, and your number of lives, and again, that cool little picture. Now, I had this back in the day, and loved Bomb Jack back in the day, and this, yeah, I remember thinking this was brilliant. I've not played this in at least, I don't know, at least, I don't know, 4 years. Right, let's define keys. So 2 players take it in turns. J, keyboard turbo, Kemp's turn 1, keyboard. Okay, you're not going to let me pick the keys? No, you're not. That's interesting. Z. N left, M right, Z is jump. Right off the bat, not as colourful as the Spectrum version, as you would expect. No sound apart because it's the 48K one, it's the bleeper, but at least you've got in-game sound effects, and I think it still looks like the arcade. Well, you know what I mean, it's a decent representation. To say I wouldn't be happy with it, and I am still being objective by the way, just because I'm saying to say I had it back in the day, but to say I would have been happy with this, yeah, totally, because it plays like the arcade. I would say, because the screen is definitely bigger or more spaced out, that it's far easier than the Commodore, so that kind of makes it a bit awkward to do comparisons between them. Monochromic or not, it is sharper graphics, but look at that for some hovering skills. The controls are tighter, but obviously the monochromic graphics means looking out for bad guys. It's not impossible, it's a little bit trickier. So I'll give that one to the Commodore. The colour, ooh, makes it better on that version for spotting where your bad guys are. But it would appear more playable with the your hovering mechanic. He says he just got killed by a mummy. Oh, mummy, not my mummy. But it's definitely, the level seems more spaced out. Shall I get that? Shall I mop up some extra points? Now, there is a Bomb Jack sequel. It's got nothing to do with this gameplay, but it's not really a Bomb Jack sequel. It was a reskinned other game, wasn't it? Oh shit, they don't flicker, they just go straight back. I'm sure they flickered in the arcade. No, no, no. Oh, which way is he going? God, it chucks out the... That's something else that's different. It chucks out the power pills. Now, there, again, an unfair comparison thing is, I never got to this stage on the Commodore one because it was so hard. Yay, that's what she said. But I'm really impressed. There is colour then, as you can see in this one, in the chateau, in the ghetto, sorry. And even with that bar down the side, like I said, the screen is bigger. It's kind of a tough one to call. Again, I am being objective, believe it or not, but I would say that this controls better than the Commodore one. Playing it on keys against keyboard, is that a fair... Oh shit, comparison? I don't know. We'll have one more go. There we go. Sweet. I do like that scrolly colour thing they do though. I was going to say, you know, it would be nice to define my keys, but then ultimately it doesn't really matter, does it? Because you've only got 3 of them. So as long as they're on one side of the keyboard and the other side of the keyboard, that makes it fine. Get it? Got it? Gone. Good. Yoink. That is so satisfying though when you do that with the bombs. Ooh, again, this is a bit where it kind of comes a bit... Ooh, because you can't really work out sometimes where the enemies are. But I've got a hover button that is amazeballs. Right, Wow, I'm going to round up while I talk over the end. How would I compare the both? The Commodore looks more like the arcade. That's not to say the Spectrum doesn't. Has better music, as you would expect, but has no in-game sound effects. Those are all kind of, you know, mute points really, because they're strengths of the system. Although you could obviously have sound effects on the Commodore, dependent upon the programmers. But yeah, but the Commodore one is definitely more cramped, and not just because of what I thought with the arcade machine, where it was a question of it was taller than it was wider. So, you know, yeah, the Commodore one's definitely more cramped, and your floating mechanic or your controls, whether it's joystick or not, don't feel quite as tight. So I would say, all in all, colour aside, I got to give it to Spectrum. I really have, and I'm sure I'm going to be a bunch of Commodore people saying, "Oh no, 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 no." Just my thoughts, as always. Would love to know what yours are. Did you have this on the Spectrum back in the day? Did you have it on the Commodore back in the day? Or did you just play the arcade? Anyway, thank you very much for watching. Magic platform there, and I'll see you later.